to get things started.
On the motivational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational, this is what we call the Keeler Show.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good Tuesday morning. What a beautiful day yesterday, right?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
It was great. I actually had the umpires class last night, which, by the way, I think you need to make 6 of the 8, so I guess maybe it's too late to come. Although, if you're interested, you can still come Wednesday night, 6 to 8:30.
Sure, you can figure out a way to.
Yeah, there's also a course you can take online. But anyway, the point being, it was good to be back talking baseball.
Yeah.
And it was nice, and the sun was out for even most of the class, which, ran till 8:30. Obviously, at some point it goes down. But, boy, it's so good to be talking about baseball again, watching these snowbanks melt down. Telling you, I'm a different person once we hit March. And then I'll shut down again in November.
It is finally, I know it's going to get cold again, and we're probably still going to get some snow and stuff. But
sure,
once the ground warms up a little bit, the snow melts pretty quickly.
Yeah,
so
get over that hump a little bit.
And, man, I'm going to tell you, we got hit with a skunk this morning. Holy moly. It had to be, like, right outside the house. Because it was, you could smell it through the house. Very strong.
Does it make you wonder what triggered the incident?
I was thinking about that, and I'm like, do skunks spray for mating purposes also? Because
question.
what is it? What was it? Did the skunk get like? Is there like a real wimpy skunk out there that it was a chipmunk that ran by and it got all nervous and sprayed? Or because we don't have a dog. I don't. Although there are dogs everywhere in the neighborhoods. Maybe that's what did it. But it was pretty darn strong. I got to tell you.
So I just did a quick search on Google, and according to AI, skunks spray their noxious, oily liquid when they're
startled.
Yes, as a last resort defense mechanism against threats, predators, dogs, or perceived danger. It does not mention mating.
No, I couldn't find it this morning. So I think it's just some sort of maybe a raccoon startled the skunk. Maybe who knows what? Maybe a deer was walking by. Maybe a guy running. They run all the time.
Maybe you slept with the window open last night. And the alarm clock.
That's possible. That could have been. That could have been it. Could have been it. So. Anyway, this morning we have a really cool thing that we're going to do this morning, and we've been so tied up with politics and with war and with everything else that's going on. Heart Run and Walk, the radiothon. It's just been so much happening. But this morning, Dr. Kent Hall, Julie Hall, who's a CNO, and Dr. Gary Zimmer, who's CMO at WIN. They're in the emergency room at WIN, and they're going to talk about the reality versus fantasy. How real is The Pit, which is on, I believe, is that HBO? That's on? The Pit, which is a Pittsburgh ER, and let me tell you something, it's so intense. You're wondering, like, how real is it? And I have to say, the last time we asked the question of Dr. Hall, he said, it's not that intense every single day, but it gets that way, and it can be intense. He says the show is very realistic. So we'll have Dr. Hall, Dr. Kent Hall, Julie Hall, and Dr. Gary Zimmer in studio to talk. I think Dr. Hall will be on the phone, but to talk about the realities of this TV show. What's it like at the WIN ER at its peak? We've all kind of experienced it, but you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So I think this is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but I'm not familiar. I know what the show is about, but I haven't seen the show, so I don't know how chaotic they depict it to be.
If you've not seen the show, the word is it is very chaotic, and It's one of the most intense programs. I think Willie Waffle said it might be the best show he has ever seen on television. And one of the things that keeps being talked about these days is the head charge nurse. She's the one that directs everybody. And there was a baby that was dropped off, baby Jane Doe. And everybody's mocking the way she says baby Jane Doe. And they all had to go through accent training because it's a Pittsburgh ER. So you want it to sound like Pittsburgh. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit.
Did she say it like it's the official name?
Baby Jane Doe, baby Jane Doe.
I thought maybe she was like Billie Jean King, like it was the baby's actual name. It's baby Jane Doe.
Maybe somebody out there can do it really well. Do that phrase really well. And I don't know, we'll give you some sort of a prize. And by the way, we couldn't have a Pioneers game on Saturday night in the playoffs in the NCAA tournament without a little giveaway of Pioneers tickets.
Oh, nice.
So maybe today we'll have an opportunity for somebody to win tickets. And I just want you don't get them for, I just want to tell you, they don't get them for free. We don't get them for free. We find ways to, like last week, we had a Shipwright office that helped us get the tickets. And this week I was sitting there buying my tickets for Saturday, and I'm like, they're nice. From a season ticket holder standpoint, I think it's $9 a ticket. So I'm like, all right, well, let's throw a couple of extras in there, and we'll give them away because we want to make sure we're including everybody in the opportunity to go to the game. So I have 4 tickets to give away. And, Davey, is that a problem?
How much are the tickets now?
I think they're either $9 or $12, something like that. How do you beat that? I mean, what a night. What is the problem with that, Davey?
No problem.
You just don't like dealing with the giveaway part.
No, I like it. No
problem.
What
are you shaking your head in there for?
I just went like this. This is a good
Wow,
idea.
you did the wow. I could have had a V8.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a good idea. It doesn't match. Wow, I love it. I love this idea. Oh, Lordy.
Smitty, I remember Andrew used to say this. I don't know. Why are you smacking yourself in there?
That is so funny. Happy Mother's Day, Ma. Oh, Davey, you kill me. Anyway, well, good morning. So we'll give tickets away.
Missed it.
I have a clear view of Davey. So when there's something that annoys him and he becomes visual, it's a major distraction for me because I'm like, okay, what did I just do to make Davey unhappy? Anyway, we'll give a pair away at some point here this morning. We will. Also, I don't know. Every day is a different day. Yesterday, the president's like, I kind of think we might be done with this war. I think it's kind of over. And then, meanwhile, you have Iran saying, no, it's not over. We're not going to stop. And now this morning, it looks like Iran is saying we won't stop attacking the oil until the bombing stops. And now the president is saying, well, the bombing's not going to stop until I just can't keep up with this. But I will tell you that if it continues, we actually had a good day yesterday because it looked like it was going to come to an end. The stock market recovered. It actually gained a few points yesterday, 200 points.
Oil went down?
Oil went down a little bit, and we'll see now what today brings. The Strait of Hormuz still is about 95% closed. And the only thing going through it right now has no oil. And one of the big issues of this is Lloyd's of London plays a huge role in all of this. And I'll explain that coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. Is the lack of DHS funding beginning to cause major travel problems at airports? It certainly seems like it as spring break is starting to kick in. And Tanya, good morning. What do we know about this one? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Hey, well, it looks like as of Sunday, we were seeing much, longer wait times at some airports, not all airports, but some. they're telling people, hey, if you're going to travel, and you're going heading to the airport, you will probably want to get there really early, depending on where you are. Some airports, like I said, are worse than others. On Sunday, we were seeing wait times at Houston's Hobby Airport at 1.3 hours for TSA screening wait times. They were asking people to get there 3 to 4 hours before their flight. Eventually, they started telling them to get there 4 to 5 hours early to allow extra time for screening, because there are TSA agents who are not, coming to work. Remember now, they haven't been getting paid since mid-February, and as of this coming Saturday, they will have missed their first full paycheck. I think they've missed a partial one at this point, but. At this, Saturday, it would be like the whole one. We also saw stuff like this from Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport on Sunday. The shortage of TSA agents at the security checkpoints. They were telling people at least 3 hours before your flight, and that wait times for TSA alone could last up to 2 hours. They said that delays could continue through this week. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. It depends on the place, on the airport. Looks like, I believe up near you, that would be Albany, right?
Albany and Syracuse. We're closer to Syracuse than we are Albany, but people go to both.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I know Albany's is only like 10 minutes at this point, because
Okay.
you can, before you fly, look up on your airport website, or you can just Google your airport name, and then TSA wait times, and it'll probably pop up. But you can actually check that to see, depending on which airport you're flying out of. They will probably have that on there. You can at least hopefully look online and see. So yeah,
it is interesting. This is spring break time, so we have a lot of colleges up here, but that's not where we kind of get a lot of lines. Which we don't get often, which is nice to fly out of Syracuse or Albany. But we get lines usually at high school and elementary school spring break. That's when, like, a 7 o'clock flight in the morning heading out to Orlando will be, you want to get there early for something like that. But otherwise, we don't deal with, JFK and LaGuardia. Holy moly. That looks really tough right now. So, okay. Well, what I find interesting is I understand we're at war, but none of the politicals are really talking about reopening. Like we must reopen the government. It seems like neither side is talking that much about that right now. I find that very interesting.
Yeah, that is a good point, and I've heard people asking, why aren't we hearing more about all of the things that are going on, from like what are in other words, what are y'all doing? To put it in the short question. And there hasn't, it doesn't seem like there's been a satisfactory answer to put people on both sides of the political spectrum. From what I've seen, that everybody feels like there's not enough being said about this, and like, okay, how is this going to come to an end? What are you doing with it?
Right. It is. It's almost like either both sides feels like both sides has this feeling that they're in the right, but not so much that they can really keep talking about it every day. Because otherwise, Democrats thought this was going to really be horrible for Republicans. They'd be talking about it every day. Same thing for Republicans, but neither side seems. It's almost as if this could be bad for both. I don't know.
Well, I think part of it
what's
is
going on.
With what's going on with Iran, right? You got that as a major distraction, but also I think
that should be an incentive to get DHS back open, I would think.
Well, do we want to see more American citizens being shot in their own cities while they protest?
Well, and that's another part. Tanya, that becomes...
I think part of it is Republicans are like, all right, there's not a problem here. There's not a burning fire, so I'm not going to pay attention to it.
Maybe. Interesting. Well...
Yeah, especially now with the TSA, you want to make sure you've got TSA agents, enough TSA agents. But remember why we have the TSA in the first place.
Right.
Right, for sure.
We started this after 9/11 to make sure that there was no more shoe bombers or anybody like that happening. This is a particularly fraught time with the situation in Iran, and the warnings that we have seen coming from nobody has come right out and said, but the possibility of like lone wolf attacks, things like that.
Yeah.
The last thing you want at this particular time is for some sleeper cell to be activated by all of this, what's going on over in Iran, and decide, you know what, there's not as many TSA agents. I wonder what I can get through there.
Well, listen, we've already had a potential disaster in New York City, right, with the attempted bombing, and had those bombs gone off, that would have killed and injured dozens of people that were out there. So we're one step away from one of these things happening. And world affairs traditionally tends to incentivize these things. So, well, we'll see what happens there, Tanya.
I mean, we can't depend on the incompetence of bomb makers for all of this stuff. That's exactly what happened in this case. Like you said, there were 2 of those devices were live, and if they had gone off, that would have been a major issue, and like just a lot of people could have. I've covered a bomb going off, homemade bomb going off here before. It is scary,
devastating.
It is.
And this, you're right. This was just they didn't even really have to light it. The impact alone, if done right, would have detonated the device. And they just did. They almost knew what they were doing, but they didn't. And you're right. How long do we rely on that? Not good. So, okay, Tanya, as always, interesting stuff. We appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you.
Have a great day, Tanya Powers with Fox News Radio. Also this morning, Matthew Skinner has announced his candidacy for state Supreme Court. He is a law clerk for Judge John Dillon. We'll have him in this morning. Farmer Ben Simons. It is maple season, and what does the weather all mean for that? We're expecting rain today, speaking of the weather, which could mean a little more runoff depending on how much rain we actually get today. And I don't know about you, but my sump pump is running full time. You're not getting anything.
No, I'm not. I'm surprised.
It's really weird how it's just so much snow has melted and gone into the ground. And interestingly, I had somebody asking me, Wayne was asking me yesterday about our pool update. So you have this elephant cover, which is this enormous. If you put an elephant on it, right? If somebody were to walk on top of it, you'd get a little wet, but you wouldn't go in. And I think because we had a month of below zero weather, the ice kept forming. It would snow and then turn to ice, and ice would pull the water out. And I think it got so heavy. Turns out it ripped the springs that hold it into the concrete. And it went down, and it's stretching it pretty good. I think that it didn't rip, and I also don't think there's a rip in the liner. The pool is now half full. Where did all the water go? And I was reading up online, and it's a phenomena called water displacement. So this ice gets to be so thick, almost like what you'd have when you hear if an iceberg were to melt. Right, it would raise. The seawater would raise. In this case, because this ice goes down into the water, it pushes the water up and out, and also much of the ice pulls the water out of the pool. So that's why it's half full, or we have a rip in the liner.
Yeah,
I wonder which it'll be.
It's not the latter.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that old. You wouldn't think that we'd have that problem, but we will see.
So, since we're kind of highlighting, I guess, some issues that we're noticing with the snow melting away.
That's the one thing, right? This is the dirtiest time of the year. I mean, you just look at it's wonderful. Love but you're looking around and the dirt from the plows and the sanders and all of that stuff. It's all over the place. And then you find things that have happened, damage to your home that you didn't realize happened.
Well, I was aware of this. I guess this part I didn't realize, and it's not damage to my home, although it is on the property. So I mentioned I had a water main break right out in front of the house.
You have now?
No. This was maybe in January. I can't remember exactly when it happened, but It happened when we were pretty it must have been January or late December. Water main breakout in front of the house. Again, kudos to the Mohawk Valley Water Authority, the crew that came out. There were trucks lining the whole road because they had to obviously dig it out, repair the pipe. I don't even know what the process is. Then they fill the hole again, and then they put like a temporary blacktop on it. They came back in the past week and went over it again, I see, because it had sunk down quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I did somewhat see this, but I didn't realize the extent. When all this is happening, all the water's shooting out. And again, we were in the dead of winter, and
So you saw the water shooting out.
oh yeah, for
That's
sure.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, my yard was kind of partially grass because all this water coming out melted all the snow.
Jeff was there with his rubber ducky and his
Yeah,
scrub,
I
taking a
can
bath.
imagine. Yeah, taking a bath out there in January.
Well, there's rocks everywhere now, right? From that, I guess. that
Probably blew the bloom right out of the ground.
I guess, or because they had to dig the hole, they dig it out, and they have to put it somewhere.
You mean on your lawn?
On my lawn, there's all these rocks. They have like a pile of rocks. So I don't know what I can do. Can I, when they come and fill the hole, I want to just rake it back into the hole. That's what I want to do, but I don't think they're going to let me do that. So if you've ever had a water main breakout in front of your house and this happens,
You know what I would do?
I
I would call the Mohawk Valley Water Authority and say, can I rake these back into the hole?
Yeah, I'll have to take a picture today.
And my guess is
yesterday.
they would say no because the more rocks, the more pressure, which could push into a line, causing a water break.
Well, see, I don't know, because I'd have to imagine once you get under that first layer of, what do you want to call it, blacktop on the road, what's under that? It's rock and stone, right?
Right.
So I don't understand why I couldn't push it back in there to refill the hole. I don't know. But I'm looking at it, and certainly I can't mow. I mean, not that it's mowing season yet, but I'm not mowing over a big pile of rocks.
Right.
And I don't want this pile of rocks sitting on, so it becomes my responsibility to get rid of it?
Yes, I think it does.
Or is that the official statement from MVWA?
This is so funny. I mean, can you, this is a different topic, I'm sorry, but as I'm being, usually you're like, you're going down the rabbit hole. I'm going down Donna's rabbit hole. That doesn't sound right at all. But Donna, my apologies for that. However, she's like, why is the audio so low today on YouTube? And for those who turned their TV all the way up, I apologize because I just fixed it. This, for some reason, in the last few weeks, our YouTube computer has crashed several times. And every time it crashes, I got to go back in and reset everything. And for some reason, this camera angle, which is, we call it the Lance from Lee camera angle, because that's what he wants. For some reason, the audio was really low. So I just turned it up. It's fixed. But what I find interesting is Donna said, why is the audio so low? And instantly we just turn it up for her. So there you go, Donna. Your fix is our command. Your wish is our command. I had a water main break. Julie, I had a water main break in front of my house. They came back in good weather, and they fix your lawn.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm. I can't wait. I've got a couple other spots in the back they can work on, too.
Call Andrew. He is good at impersonating. Andrew doing the Baby Jane Doe. Baby Jane Doe? You're right, he is. Wayne says, yes, ice to water displacement. It's a real thing. I think I'm just going to add water to it maybe today and tomorrow and see what happens. And then Mike this morning says...
Pool level low? Just add water.
Just add water. Mike says, that's not a skunk. Perhaps the dog startled a pot smoker in your neighborhood. So you may be right. Stefan, hold on. I'll get to you in a second. Manaski with an update on news here at 646.
Bill, we have clear skies and 41 degrees at 646. President Trump says the U.S. military operation against Iran could be ending soon. Speaking Monday in Florida, the president said the U.S. is ahead of schedule and that the mission called Operation Epic Fury may already be close to completion. 7 U.S. service members have been killed since the operation began on February 28th. G7 energy leaders are meeting today to consider releasing oil reserves as the conflict with Iran disrupts global energy markets. Officials from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the U.S. will hold a virtual meeting to discuss a coordinated plan, with the U.S. suggesting the release of up to 400 million barrels, which is about 30% of the reserves. Even as oil prices pull back from 4-year highs, drivers are still feeling the impact. AAA reports the national average for regular gas rose overnight to $3.53 a gallon. A nationwide ground stop for all JetBlue flights is now lifted. The FAA issued the notice early Tuesday saying the airline had made the request but did not offer further details. JetBlue now says a brief system outage has been resolved and we have resumed operations. AI researchers are rallying behind Anthropic in its legal fight with the Pentagon. Executives and engineers from OpenAI and Google DeepMind, that is, have signed a legal brief supporting the company after the Defense Department labeled Anthropic a supply chain risk, according
Through hard work, honesty, and a commitment to doing things the right way, that dream became 3 generations strong. A lot has changed over the past 8 decades, but our promise remains the same. Quality materials and personal service you can count on. Thank you to our customers for 80 incredible years. Little Falls Lumber, built on trust since day one, and we look forward to serving you in the future.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team. Whitesboro is a leading school system in central New York with 7 schools, 3,100 students, and holding a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Perfect for retirees with extra time. Help drive our future leaders with Whitesboro Central School Transportation. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
The U.S. and Israel keep bombing Iran for an 11th day. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but President Trump suggests it'll end very soon when
they will no longer have any capacity whatsoever for a very long period of time of developing weaponry that could be used against the United States.
Fox's Trey Yingst is in Tel Aviv.
Overnight, I spoke with President Trump for about 20 minutes as he traveled back to Washington from Florida, getting some new insight on the commander-in-chief's thinking about Operation Epic Fury, the success so far, and what he thinks about Iran's new supreme leader. I asked him about Mojtaba Khamenei, and he said that he's not happy with this selection. He goes on to say, I don't believe he can live in peace. He also gave some new details on the timing of this operation and why it needed to take place when it did. He said, when we attacked them first, we knocked out 50% of their missiles, and if we didn't, it would have been a much harder fight.
The president also warns he'll hit Iran much harder if they block oil shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices are falling this morning 5%, back to $89 a barrel, but gas prices are up another 6 cents. The remains of the 7th U.S. soldier killed in the conflict came back to the U.S. last night in a flag-draped coffin.
Sergeant Benjamin Pennington was 26 years old from Glendale, Kentucky. He died Sunday, a week after being wounded in an Iranian attack on the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. Vice President Vance and War Secretary Hegseth were there for the dignified transfer honoring the return of a service member's remains at Dover Air Base in Delaware.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. We'll get an update on the war from Secretary Hegseth next hour. Polls just opening now in Georgia for a special House election to replace former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
The district has been reliably red for years. There are 12 Republicans, 3 Democrats, a Libertarian, and an Independent, all listed on the ballot. If nobody wins a majority of votes today, the top 2 candidates will compete in a runoff election on April 7th.
That's Fox's Evan Brown. America's listening to Fox News.
Shh, here she comes.
Surprise! They sent a duplicate shipment to your flower shop! Now you have to pay for 1,000 extra carnations! Also, there's a beehive outside your store! And they're super aggressive! There's thousands of them!
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, the egg salad you just ate was expired! Gross!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes and their families, heroes like Scott Abrams. Now, for more than 3 decades, Scott served his community and country while he was on his NYPD motorcycle escorting a funeral procession. Scott was hit by a bus. leaving him partially paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers was able to honor Scott with a mortgage-free smart home. Please join us supporting the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. If you can donate $11 a month, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
JetBlue is flying this morning after some overnight turbulence. The airline had to ground operations briefly because of a system outage since fixed. There could be long lines, though, at airports with some TSA security workers not showing up again as they continue to have to work without paychecks. As Homeland Security remains unfunded, Democrats keep blocking new money, demanding immigration enforcement reforms. Meanwhile, President Trump is putting more pressure on Congress to approve a voter ID law.
The president says he may not sign off on any other legislation until the House and Senate pass the Save America Act.
It'll guarantee the midterms. If you don't get it, big trouble.
President Trump making his plea at a House Republicans conference in Miami, urging the House to put pressure on Senate Republicans to do away with the filibuster to pass the measure.
Because I don't think you can politically exist if you're not going to do voter ID and these things. I don't think the people in this country will stand for it.
Critics of the bill warn the stricter ID requirements and limits on mail-in voting will make it harder for millions of Americans to vote. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Now, an update on the shots fired over the weekend in California outside a famous pop star's home.
Los Angeles police tell Fox News Ivana Lisette Ortiz is accused of firing a gun toward singer Rihanna's Beverly Hills home Sunday afternoon. The 35-year-old is charged with attempted murder and is being held on more than $10 million bail.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. On Wall Street, stock futures are rising the day after the Dow and the NASDAQ both closed higher despite starting the day with big drops. At the World Baseball Classic, an American win.
Strokes one the other way, back towards the wall. There it goes! Aaron Judge strikes first for Team USA.
Judge helped power the U.S. past Mexico 5-3 on FS1. The Americans are now 3-0 and can clinch a spot in the quarterfinals with a win over Italy tonight. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
We have clear skies and 40 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. This news update is brought to you by the new Wendy's Girl Scout Thin Mint Frosty Fusion. Try Wendy's new Girl Scout Thin Mint Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mint cookie pieces. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's and Girl Scouts of the USA. A man is recovering after being stabbed in the chest after a fight on Mohawk Street in the city of Utica. Police officers report that they did not learn about the incident until the victim was brought to Wynn Hospital in critical condition. It happened Sunday night, shortly after 8 p.m. Medical staff at the Wynn provided emergency surgery, and the man is expected to recover. Police say the fight broke out before the stabbing, and the suspects fled the scene while the victim was taken to the hospital. UPD is asking anyone with information to come forward. You can submit tips by calling 223-3556. A heartwarming and heart-stopping video is making the rounds on the internet. A moose stuck on an icy road in the Adirondacks struggles to get her footing and becomes the star of a real-life survival story. You can check out this video on our website at WIBX950.com. The moose is exhausted, struggling to stand several times and slipping back onto the ice again and again. Again, a man comes up with a shovel saying, "I don't want to hurt you," and helps the moose ultimately get her footing and get off the ice. He then tells her, "That's a good girl, just now stay off the ice." You can find the video on our website, WIBX950.com. It was shared by Explore the ADK, and it's a reminder of how quickly humans can make a difference in the wild. And we are learning more details about an incident involving a man with a gun near the Syracuse University campus. Police say 22-year-old Mateo Haley Pereira is a Cornell University student who purchased a bus ticket to Syracuse. He was armed with a rifle and ammunition on Saturday before being taken into custody while waiting for a bus to go back to Ithaca. Haley Pereira's motive is still under investigation. He's being held in the Onondaga County Justice Center. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:08. Here's a look at your Weather Center forecast.
It's that time of year, fog thick and a cool morning, then developing sunshine as we head through the day. The mild weather continues, 63. Some showers tonight, 45. North Country a little bit cooler, and a chance of showers tomorrow, maybe some afternoon thunderstorms, highs in the upper 60s. Rain and snow showers back on Thursday, colder, mid-30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Again, clear and 40 at 7:08. All right, in sports, Syracuse basketball plays today. They will see some ACC tournament action. The opponent is SMU. Tip-off set for 4:30, and that game will air on the ACC network. Some football news. Actually, let me mention this, another Syracuse story. I'm sorry. It's about the attendance numbers at Syracuse basketball games. Have you seen this? It's down quite a bit.
Well, the program is horrible. I am not surprised. I mean, people, and it's not like it's the first year. This has been just a diminishing success program for the last 5-6 years.
The average attendance is over 17,600 fans for their 18 home games, making it the third lowest mark in JMA Wireless Dome history. Now, when they say that, I think they mean the dome itself, right? JMA Wireless Dome's only been there for, 5 years?
I'm assuming it includes the entire dome. Yeah.
Yeah, the Orange have struggled this year.
Like
finishing,
the Carrier Dome.
Yeah. 15 and 16 is the record. I wonder if this will be mentioned when they move on from their current coach. It's a financial hit to the university not to have fans coming out and attending those games. All right, some NFL signings. Tua Tagovailoa going to the Atlanta Falcons, a one-year deal. Michael Penix Jr. still recovering from that knee injury and could miss week 1. Tua was released by the Dolphins Monday before the team agreed to terms with former Packers backup Malik Willis on a 3-year deal worth $45 million. Mike Evans, the longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver, is heading west. He signs a 3-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers. The Chiefs re-signed Travis Kelce. They also picked up Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III. That's a 3-year deal worth over $43 million.
And the Bills lose a couple, I think the Bills lose like 2 or 3 players, right?
Yes.
We lost Reggie Gilmore to the Patriots. We lost Mitch Trubinsky to the Titans.
Who cares about that?
And we re-signed, they got a backup in Kyle Allen to back up Josh. And we lost another. We traded Terry Johnson to the Raiders for draft picks, and we signed a cornerback from the Falcons.
Former Bill, I think Tremaine Edmonds, right?
Yeah, he's a free agent.
Well, he's now a New York Giant. He will be officially tomorrow. They also got from the Baltimore Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely, and the Jets got Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was he a former Bill?
No.
Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Cowboy.
He was with most recently with the Miami Dolphins.
But
so a lot of signings going on.
The big news is from the Bills is we getting DJ Moore from the Bears, which officially
that's big.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's really big. Anything else?
Just the Knicks lost to the Clippers 126-118. The Knicks are back in action. They visit the Jazz tomorrow night.
If you're a season ticket holder, tickets are on sale now for the Pioneers game Saturday night, 7 o'clock at the Adirondack Bank Center. Hamilton College will play in their playoff game. They're playing Newman on Saturday as well, and that's also at Hamilton College. Mm-hmm. Those tickets get eaten up pretty quickly because it's a small arena, 600 seats or so. So usually the students get first dibs on the tickets there. People of all ages can experience any level of discomfort in the knees, the hips, the back, all stemming from the way you walk. And if your walk is off, it could really affect you and pain. And enter the Good Feet store. There's now a Good Feet store here in the area in New Hartford at 4630 Commercial Drive. You walk in, you do not need an appointment. They'll do a free fitting and a test walk, no appointment needed, and they'll show you where your arch is off, where your walk is off. They'll show it right to you. You walk on this, it's not like almost like walking on an ink blotter, but you're not, and it will show you the indentation, and you'll see the issue. Their inserts, it's a 3-step system. Strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers. Use your shoes or theirs. And the goal is make the pain go away. It's the Good Feet Store, 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. For directions or questions, 315-999-3910. Coming up next, Dr. Kent Hall, nurse, CNO, Julie Hall, and Dr. Gary Zimmer from the ER at WIN, talking about the TV series Pitt. I think we're in our second season now, so if you were to discover this and start watching it, you'd have a lot of episodes to binge watch and catch up on. This might be the best show I've ever seen. And I love The Bear. I think this is better than The Bear.
I don't even know what The Bear is. I'm so far behind.
Yeah, again, but there's going to come a moment where we're going to just be able to discover all these things, and you're going to be, like maybe it'll be snowing out, the weather's crappy, and you'll be able to discover all of this stuff.
So when you say the second season, really what you mean is, as far as it relates to the show, it's the second shift, right?
Each season is a shift. So it starts at like 7 or 8 in the morning, and then episode 2 is at 9 a.m., episode 3 is at 10 a.m., all the way through the day, and that becomes your season. It's pretty cool. And it's kind of like how 24 was done.
Yes.
Same type of thing. But it's called The Pit, and I got to tell you, it is, I think, unbelievably realistic in the ER. But what do we know, right? So Dr. Hall, Dr. Zimmer, and Nurse Julie Hall will speak with them coming up in a second to see what's real and what isn't. Coming right up at WIBX.
Warner Sales and Service, building relationships, building trust.
This is Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf Zero-Turn Mowers. Hustler mowers are designed to be maintenance and service friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. Come see us at Warner Sales and Service on the Greenway New London Road in Rome, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through March 31st, get up to $170 back on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your Tallman's Tire CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end March 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
80 years ago in Little Falls, a dream was built, one board at a time. Through hard work, honesty, and a commitment to doing things the right way, that dream became 3 generations strong. A lot has changed over the past 8 decades, but our promise remains the same. Quality materials and personal service you can count on. Thank you to our customers for 80 incredible years. Little Falls Lumber, built on trust since day one, and we look forward to serving you in the future.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. And online at tallmanstire.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Is your business the best at what you do? Then you should be a Central New York's Industry Ace. Our Industry Aces are made up of the best businesses in the region, and we'll help you tell your story to thousands of consumers in the Mohawk Valley. With a combination of on-air and online testimonial commercials, along with targeted social media ads that are guaranteed to reach the consumers you want to be talking to. And best of all, these messages are coming directly from you. Interested in learning more? Contact Megan Powers at 315-768-9500.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, host of Fox Across America. We're talking politics, pop culture, and comedy, minus all the rage and finger-pointing. It's real talk for real people who just want to laugh, think, maybe learn something along the way. So join the fun weekdays at noon right here on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, Central New York's home for talk that's smart, honest, and just the right amount of crazy. Fox Across America with your main man, Jimmy Fallon.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
You'd be nice and tight on the microphones. I want to bring in Dr. Kent Hall. And Dr. Hall, I'm not sure if you guys know, but Dr. Hall was with us all during COVID. So he's become a big friend of the show and is on the line right now. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good. Thanks so much for coming on. And during the this segment, we wanted to bring in also Dr. Gary Zimmer, who's a CMO from WIN, and Julie Hall, who's a CNO, also from WIN here this morning. Guys, good morning and welcome to the program. I got to turn you up. They were impressed with the screen here and the fact that it's right to the T. Like right to the second. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's always
it works pretty well.
And it very much like an episode on The Pit, but when it goes down, we're like, oh, my God, what do we do now? So
absolutely.
And it does. All right. So I'll start with you, Dr. Kent Hall. Your thoughts on The Pit, the program that is on, is it HBO? It's about an ER. It goes through an actual shift. Each episode is another hour. What are your thoughts on this program, Doc?
Yeah, so I would say that, this is one of the most, if not the most realistic medical dramas that's been on television, certainly that I've ever seen. It does depict in realistic fashion, a shift in the emergency department. It is dramatized, so there are things that they need to compress in to have the storyline go through. But in terms of the rapid fire, especially for a level 1 trauma center in a major city, and the types of cases that they have, and the social and emotional effects of working in an emergency department. I think that they do a good job of calling them out. Again, there may be some embellishment there from a storyline standpoint, but I think I've read some articles that talk about other folks who work in emergency departments saying that if this is that they want their families to watch this so that they can see what their work life is like. I'm not sure that I would have wanted my family to see this and to feel like that's what I went through on a day-to-day basis when I was working in a level 1 trauma center. But it is real. I would say that real is a good word for it.
Let's go to Julie Hall. Your thoughts, Julie?
I agree with Dr. Hall. It's hard to really kind of show what it looks like to work in an emergency department, and it is dramatized. I can't imagine having a day the way this show is laid out. I mean, it's not all of these things would happen in a shift. Right. But if you talk to ED nurses for 40 years, they will tell you that they have seen every single one of these situations over the course of their career.
Yeah. Doc, this morning also in is Dr. Gary Zimmer. Your thoughts?
I agree, obviously, with Kent and with Julie. The only thing that I'll add is I think that Noah Wiley in particular has done a great job evangelizing what happens in emergency departments, not just on TV. He's been a speaker, I think, at the Emergency Nurses Association, at the American College of Emergency Physicians. The only thing that I would say that is not perfectly represented is it's easy for me to say this one. It's a little doctor heavy in terms of where all the work is getting done. The real
Thank you
heroes
for that.
in the department are the nurses and the techs and all the other people who are, doing a lot of the labor. We obviously played an important part as physicians. But I think that it's really great to be able to see for a camera that you've got people who are wearing the stethoscopes as the doctor, not as the nurse. But I think that, on the flip side, nurses like Dana are so real and show the range of emotions that everybody goes through working in the emergency department.
Well, there is that reason why they always say the nurses are for lack of a better way to describe it, touchy-feely, the emotional. They satisfy your emotional needs if you're in an ER, whether you're the patient or you're a family member. And doctors tend to be a little more...
just the facts, man.
Just the facts, yeah. And I guess we're okay with that, right? It works that way.
I think it works well as a team. I think, that's the big thing about working in the emergency department. It really is the true team sport in medicine, similar to what happens in the operating room and a few other places. But it's really we exist because we work together.
Yeah. I would ask you, and I'll start with Dr. Kent Hall. COVID was a good example, or I should ask the question, was COVID somewhat of an example of an overwhelmed ER, like what we see on the pit?
Yes, there were times, certainly early on, especially in like New York City and places like that, absolutely true. And then in the first full winter months, so that would have been 21 into 22, yes, that was absolutely true. It was or I'm sorry, 20 into 21.
Yes.
Yes, that was overwhelming. And again, it was overwhelming for the emergency department in terms of the numbers of patients. But some of the things that happened, and it was overwhelming, related to the fact that the hospitals and the healthcare system in general was overwhelmed. And this is really across the country. That, because the hospitals were overwhelmed, that backed up into the emergency department. So there was a double whammy for the emergency department, both in the inflow of patients coming in and the inability to outflow patients, to get patients out into hospital beds because there weren't any hospital beds available. So that was a different type of overwhelming, but yes, it was absolutely true.
We're speaking with Dr. Kent Hall and from WIN currently, Dr. Gary Zimmer and Nurse Julie Hall. Julie, your thoughts on the COVID comparison?
So I think they did a good job, portraying what COVID looked like. But I also think that COVID changed healthcare forever.
Yeah.
And so I think the way that overcrowding that they show in the emergency department is accurate across the country.
Yeah.
And, nothing looks the same after COVID, especially healthcare. We struggle with throughput everywhere in the country. And so those wait times are really, really accurate.
I will say that I've been to WIN's emergency department maybe 4 times since it opened. And my experience was always very positive, and so much, but the flow seems so much better just based on the actual infrastructure. Seems so much better than it was. But we recently also had to go to upstate ER. And if people complain about the wait and the crowding and all of that at WIN, everyone should be required to take a trip to Syracuse, because I've never seen anything like it. There was a woman next to us who was pregnant and clearly in pain, and she had come from 12 hours at St. Joe's and had been 7 hours at upstate and still wasn't able to see a doctor. So you're judged, right, Doc? You're judged by, are you going to die? And there may be somebody ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, just as a reminder to everybody who's listening, we don't see people based on when you check in. We see you based on the acuity, and that's, one of the critical roles for the triage nurses to determine, how quickly you need to be seen.
Yeah.
Our system of healthcare was not really designed to have the kind of volume that goes through our emergency departments nationwide. But the reality is, particularly since COVID, resources are more limited. We keep expanding primary care at Mohawk Valley Health System, but we still have waits to get new patients in.
Yeah.
Urgent care is not always the right place, depending on what's going on. It's really critically important that you realize that we're going to get to everybody, and we've continued to work on our workflow to do the best that we possibly can. But that this is a really systemic nationwide problem, and it really comes from the back end, which you were just talking about with Kent. Which is, if you can't get people out of the hospital back to home or the nursing homes because there's no availability or no resources for them there, the whole system gets backed up.
Right. What's the answer? What is our solution?
I think that, the biggest thing is that we have to continue to innovate. And, if you come to our emergency department today, it's different than it was actually 3 weeks ago. We just did a major workflow change. So when you come in, our goal is to get everybody seen within 30 minutes. We don't hit it 100% of the time, but we're getting better at it. So that we're getting people seen, getting workup started. You might wind up in the waiting room after you've been seen in our new workflow. And this is not something we invented. It's been done across the country. But it's really doing everything you can with the resources you can. And, from an administrative standpoint, I have the benefit of being a practicing emergency physician and the chief medical officer. But from an administrative standpoint, we're all hands on deck. On a daily basis, we do status updates for the ER multiple times a day. And when we hit certain thresholds, the staff from the floor come down to bring up their own patients. We do a number of things on the back end just to get minutes off of the clock to try to get ourselves back onto schedule.
How often do you see the same people? One of the things I saw at Upstate was, and you see it on the pit. Yeah. They know these people because they're there. They are there all the time. And the big rule at Upstate that at least we learned was, don't lay down. You can't lay down here. The security would come over and stop people from sleeping in the ER because these people, it was a cold night. And how often do you see that in Utica?
We see it a lot.
Yeah. And mental illness being a big part of that, and drug abuse.
Behavioral health is definitely a piece of that. When I think of Louie, the character on the pit, we all have a Louie, right?
Yeah.
And the scene where he spoiler alert.
Yeah.
The scene where he passes and they honor him, that happens. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
We've had it. You go into a stairwell and you cry, and then you go back to work.
Yeah.
We make connections with people. That's what we do.
Yeah. Dr. Hall, you want to add to that?
No, I would agree both with what Gary and what Julie are saying, that it's I've worked in emergency departments that, are very small in my career up to level 1 trauma centers, and they all had their Louis equivalents, and they become part of the fabric of the emergency department.
Yeah.
And we really do, feel for them when bad things happen, when they pass, or, but we also, honestly, to be on the positive side, we also celebrate some of the positives that happen with them. You were talking also about mental health, and I will tell you, during my time at Mohawk Valley, we had multiple times where we had kids with behavioral issues that were in the emergency department for extended periods of time. And, one that really stuck in my mind was a boy that was there for several months and went through a birthday, and the staff threw him a birthday party.
Wow.
Because, that was number one, that really shows the staff and their empathy and their willingness to kind of embrace even in difficult situations. But that's what emergency staff do. And to Gary's point, it's not just the doctors. And I absolutely agree. The emergency department is probably one of the top 2 or 3 places in the hospital where it's really a team. And, no one element of the team can do it, but the team coming together is really what allows us to take care of the patients that we have.
Last thing I'll bring up to you guys is, do you, when I'm watching this, I have to look away. And you may be different than that. Obviously, you see this stuff. Is there anything that comes to mind where it does seem every once in a while, this is why you can't watch the show. He can't watch it.
I watch it while I'm eating dinner.
I was just going to say, I have popcorn and I'm leaning in intently.
That's wild. But there are things that seem to surprise them. Like, I can't believe we're seeing this right now. I'm assuming that happens to you guys as well. Things that you can't believe. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for 25 years. It doesn't happen to me every day anymore. It did for a long time, but probably every week I see one of those things where I think to myself, I may not ever see this again.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, what do you mean by that? As far as it's a freak accident, or you're talking the amount of blood that somebody's losing?
No. Just in terms of the
uniqueness
ways
of the
that
case.
people get themselves into trouble. So I moved here just under 2 years ago at this point. I moved from the Philadelphia area. The number of snowmobile accidents that I've seen in 2 winters here, I hadn't seen in my entire career.
Interesting.
That's not where I was working. But,
yeah.
Bites and animals that are around that are not in other places, and just some of the crazy things that people do to themselves and somehow manage to survive.
We say it, tell me again what you did.
Yeah.
Tell me again how this happened. And sometimes, you have to hear it a third time to say, oh, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, you must have to try to not show the fact that you're astounded by what you just heard. You're trying to not show it on your face, but I guess that's can't be easy.
You would never know what we're thinking
Yeah,
while we walk
Correct.
into that room.
Yeah.
I would say maybe once in the last couple of years was something so absurd that I actually laughed in a room and apologized, obviously, but mainly because the patient was laughing also.
Right.
It wasn't, in that situation. No, our job is to take care of people and meet them where they are, no matter what's going on in their lives. And I think that all of us share that sentiment.
There's a political aspect, I think, to the pit. Certainly when it comes to vaccinations, there was an episode recently that we watched that they were very passionate about that. And then some political statements about what hospitals and ERs need today. Your thoughts on that as far as you can go?
Well, for me, I think the most important thing is that science still needs to win out. I think one of the most troubling trends that I've seen in the last few years, starting in COVID, was trying to replace science, imperfect as it is, but it's consistent and you know what it brings to the table and you know where the risks are, and replacing it with opinion, particularly non-expert opinion.
Yeah.
Because nobody who is founded in any element of science would question whether vaccines save lives.
Right.
Everybody knows that vaccines save lives, even those who have concerns about them. And one of the key elements in science is start with a premise and do research to prove that it's wrong. And that's, the whole autism link with vaccines and Tylenol. You start with a premise that maybe there's a concern and there's a correlation. You do well-grounded research that shows that it's not actually the case. But I think, at the core of it, we need to all agree that vaccines have benefit. Whether some people want to question whether there's risk that offsets it, that's a different issue. But I think, the key thing is we try to practice the science and the art of what we do and stay out of the politics of it.
I think, the other thing is that we have to recognize that patients have choice, and everybody has a choice to make a decision that we wouldn't make for ourselves. And our job is not to judge that decision. Our job is to deliver the best care we can within the confines of that patient making a decision.
Yeah. Dr. Hall, you want to add to that?
I don't think I can add anything to what Jerry just said. So, nope.
It is interesting, though, to watch what happened to. There was a recent story looking at the statistics of what happened to Tylenol and pregnant women after the story, without really any factual base whatsoever. The amazing decrease in the use of Tylenol, and what there's the company aspect of that, but there's also the people aspect of that. Just a story that starts maybe on Facebook or starts with the government can have a real effect on how people react.
Absolutely. And I think, Julie's point is critical, that people have choice. and it's really important for all of us in the healthcare field, no matter what our jobs are, that we do meet people where they are, and try to educate and share what's going on around the world, so that from a science and health perspective, so that they know how to make the best choices for themselves.
But at the end of the day, it's their choice.
It is, absolutely.
100%.
All right. Guys, this was awesome. I wish we could do it for about 2 hours.
Let's come back after the show is over.
We'll do. We should definitely do that. So, and it's only about 3, maybe 4 episodes left. Crazy.
Hopefully until season 3.
Until season 3. I hope there is a season 3. Dr. Kent Hall, thank you. Julie Hall and Dr. Gary Zimmer, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Quick break. We'll do news and Hobica's free bunny question of the day. Coming right up at WIBX.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ROAD to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ROAD for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ROAD for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Don't overpay for your next mattress. Mattress Express is upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Bring in any locally advertised price on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com.
We're your neighbors, friends, and your family. We care about our community, your business, and most important, you.
We support charities like the United Way, McMahon Ryan Child Advocacy Center. We're the members of IBW Local 43 and NECA Contractors. You don't just see our work, you live it. From the JMA Wireless Dome, hospitals, schools, and city buildings, the IBEW is part of the community.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Possibility starts with the right financial solutions from AmeriQ Credit Union. Get started today at ameriq.org/possibility.
We have clear skies, 41 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:40. As Operation Epic Fury continues against Iran, President Trump is calling it a short-term excursion. Speaking Monday at the House Republicans' annual retreat, Trump added that it was necessary to get rid of some evil. The president said over 50 Iranian Navy ships have been taken out. 7 U.S. service members have been killed since the U.S. and Israel began launching strikes against Iran on February 28th. Travelers at some airports still facing long waits and security lines as the partial government shutdown continues, leaving most of the Department of Homeland Security, including TSA. Passengers at Houston's Hobby Airport were told to arrive up to 5 hours before their flights this past weekend, saying waits and security lines could last 3 hours or more. The lack of pay has led to a shortage of TSA workers at those checkpoints. Authorities in New Mexico are searching the former Zorro Ranch, once owned by Jeffrey Epstein. It's part of a criminal investigation into alleged criminal activity there. Attorney General Raul Torres sent state police and local deputies to the property on Monday. The search follows a large weekend demonstration outside the property, demanding answers. The Florida woman accused of shooting at Rihanna's Los Angeles home apparently made disturbing social media posts about the singer. 35-year-old Ivana Ortiz was arrested after shots were fired from a white Tesla parked outside Rihanna's house on Sunday. She's being held on $10 million bail. Novo Nordisk is allowing Hims & Hers Health to continue selling the weight loss drug Wegovy. The Danish drug maker is temporarily dropping its lawsuit that claims Hims infringed on a Wegovy patent for their GLP-1 product. The deal allows Hims and Hers to sell Wegovy in injection and pill forms. It also allows Hims and Hers to sell Wegovy's sister medicine, Ozempic. And some NFL news, the Chiefs bringing back their superstar tight end for one more season. Kansas City signed Travis Kelce to a one-year, $12 million contract that has a max value of $15 million. The Chiefs have also signed former Seattle Seahawks running back and Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III. Clear skies right now, 41 degrees. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time, 7:42.
It's that time of year, fog thick and a cool morning, then developing sunshine as we head through the day. The mild weather continues, 63. Some showers tonight, 45. North Country a little bit cooler, and a chance of showers tomorrow, maybe some afternoon thunderstorms, highs in the upper 60s. Rain and snow showers back on Thursday, colder, mid-30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Again, clear and maybe some sun coming up now. That's 41
sunrise
degrees.
Is what, 7:23 or something like that.
I went to
today,
like 7:19.
Something like that. Okay, Davey, it's time for Hobica's free money question of the day, and we will give somebody a chance to win tickets to Saturday night's Pioneers NCAA tournament game. UC men's hockey, UU men's hockey, I should say. Davey, how much are we looking at here today?
$167.50.
I said that as a joke.
$167.50.
Okay.
You're
no
serious?
more jokes.
I'm serious.
All right. $167.50 and a chance at Pioneers tickets for Saturday night.
You referred to the Pioneers tickets as UC, and while it is Utica University now, there is one UC tradition that certainly continues, and that is during the national anthem at the Adirondack Bank Center. It's "Oh Say Can You See?"
Yeah, that still continues.
Yes, it does.
Okay, looking for caller number what, Davey?
4.
Fourth caller right now. So a lot of opportunity here. Caller number 4 right now. Your chance to win from Hobica and WIBX at 315-736-0186. Caller 4 will do it next on WIBX.
Utica and the Mohawk Valley, do not overpay for your next mattress. Mattress Express is upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Take advantage of our guaranteed lowest price program. Bring in any locally advertised price or quote on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. Furthermore, if within 90 days of purchase you see that mattress advertised for less, bring it to our attention. We will refund the difference. Selection, no one in New York State has all these brands under one roof except Mattress Express. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta, Eye Comfort, Avocado, and more. On New Hartford and Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. In Oneida and the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. And Rome on Black River Boulevard. Open 7 days a week. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Call 1-800-NEW-BED.
Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar. 315-444-4444.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion? That's billion with a B? Yeah. Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Our Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and Representative Elise Stefanik are standing up for radio listeners like us by supporting legislation to keep AM radio in cars. They know the value of local radio in times of emergency. Now it's time for Congress to finish the job and pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Learn more at dependonam.com. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
Hey, I want to tell you the portions of the program brought to you by Ricky Z and everybody at Steve Ponte Mazda. The Steve Ponte Mazda New Year New Mazda sales event is back. Save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy low APR financing on select new 2026 Mazda models. See the dealership for details. They've increased their inventory as they wind down their New Year New Mazda sales event this month. So right now is a great time to enjoy a new 2026 Mazda with unbelievable savings. As Rick says, come on in, let's make your deal on a new Mazda, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. All right, it's time for Hobica's free money question of the day, and it is worth, how much is that again? Good morning. $167.50.
Yes.
Okay.
167
167.50.
67, huh?
All right. Okay, and then we have some Pioneers tickets and also movie passes on the line as well here this morning. And it's the Hobica Law Firm free money question of the day from Joseph and Andrew Hobica at 315-724-1600 for your legal needs. Larry is in Utica on the line right now. Larry, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
All right, you know the way this works. You'll have 7 seconds to answer the question and get your answer in, make your guess or your pick, get it out there before the buzzer in order to win. Are you ready to go?
I am.
All right, here we go. Here is your question. On ER, where, when Dr. Ross exited, where did he land? Ready, go.
I have no idea. No,
So,
not an ER fan.
I wasn't either, but this pit has me. If you were to pick a city, he landed
Detroit.
Detroit. Was it Detroit? You have no idea, do you?
I have no clue.
Any idea?
Scene where he reunited with the nurse.
Yes,
there
because the nurse
there was a
him.
lake in the background, but what lake that was?
Lake Wakachuchi. Lake Michigan. It was Seattle is where he went. And that was George Clooney's character. I, too, was not an ER fan. But, man, this show, The Pit, is I am all over that. All right. Are you interested in tickets to the Pioneers game Saturday night at the Adirondack Bank Center?
I am.
Okay. So the way we're going to do this is I throw a question at you. You have to answer this question. Same deal. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. This is for the tickets. Let's see. I'm pulling up a question that. See, you're going to get a recycled question for this. Okay. Here is your question. Bear with me. I'm trying to make this really doable. Okay, I'm just going to pick one. Here it is. All right, you'll have 7 seconds to answer the question. This soap maker made millions of dollars on chewing gum. Who is just a last name is what we need. Made millions of dollars on chewing gum. Ready, go.
Beekman.
You're going with what?
Beekman.
Beekman. Beekman? Oh, you're thinking like the Beekman guys from...
Yeah, Beekman Boys?
Yeah, no, that's not it. Do you know the answer?
I don't remember
it's
this.
Wrigley. Wrigley
okay.
was soap before it was. All right, I'm going to give you one more. This is the last chance I'm giving you, Larry, for tickets. All right, here you go. Which planet is known as the blue planet? Ready, go.
Venus.
Guess again.
Mercury.
Anybody? Do we know the answer to that? It's Earth.
It's Earth, yeah.
It is Earth, yeah. All right, Larry. We'll do it again. We'll try again, but I will give you movie passes to the Glenwood Movieplex and Rome Cinema 8. Davy's going to hook you up, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, Larry. Thank you. You can tell I really wanted to give them to him.
Yes.
Desperately wanted to give them away. In studio right now is Matthew Skinner, who is a candidate for state Supreme Court. Currently is a law clerk with Judge Dillon. And good morning, Matthew Skinner. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
You didn't have any idea you were going to be dealing with trivia right off the bat.
No, and I hope we just continue the conversation about the pit. That would be much more interesting than state Supreme Court.
Have you watched the pit?
Oh, obsessed.
It is so good. And it comes out every Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
9 o'clock, though.
Oh, it's
then
it's on HBO, yeah.
Then the problem is you go to bed and you're amped up, like but there's no. Let's watch the next episode. If you're up current, they release them one at each week. So
we started watching the JFK Jr. show last night. Have you seen that at all?
I have. Yes. And my wife is big on that, and it's become very controversial.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you have Daryl Hannah, who is like PO'd because they have her. They portray her very poorly. And also, I think Caroline Kennedy gets portrayed pretty badly. What are your thoughts on the whole thing?
Yeah, no, I think it's very interesting. And I think they make clear there's like a disclaimer when it starts that this is a fictionalization or a dramatization. But I think people know so many of the characters so well from their public lives that people have very strong feelings.
That's a shocking, when you think about it, that family has so many losses, the Kennedy family. But the fact that I don't think he really had any interest in getting into politics at all, but was, he'd walk out of his apartment and you've got, in New York City, you'd have paparazzi chasing him down the street. And then they have this, one of the big things that ended up all over the tabloids and all over the New York Post and the Daily News was when they had the big fight in Central Park. And have you gotten to that episode yet?
Not quite, but
okay.
I know it's coming.
It's coming. And like, it was in public. Like even someone, Jeff, you're a member of
someone what? Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying what? You're
JFK Jr.
I know that. You are a public figure. If you were to, or me, we were to get into some sort of a thing out in public, it may spread pretty well. Imagine what it was like for this guy.
Yeah, for sure. And when was that? Was that before cell phones? It was, right? Or no?
I think maybe it was.
I just would have to imagine, because there would be video like on YouTube of watch this fight with JFK Jr.
The problem is paparazzi followed them everywhere. So it ended up in like People magazine and all of that stuff. So pretty wild. So yeah, that's it's an interesting show. It's worth watching.
Totally.
It's historic. All right, let's talk about you. I realize you're basically saying Supreme Court is not the most exciting thing in the world to talk about, but tell people what it is that you do. You deal with a lot of really emotional issues.
Absolutely. My judge is assigned to exclusively matrimonial cases. So every case we hear are people really their most raw sort of
very
hard issues, and really living. Sometimes you almost feel like there's just totally separate realities about the facts, what's going on, what they're hoping to accomplish through their divorce. So it's an intense caseload.
I got to tell you, I've always wanted to ask a judge this question. I've had a few moments in the courtroom, and I once had a judge say to me, listen, the way I look at it, half of what you're saying is true, half is not true, half of what they're saying is true, half of it's not true, so I'm going to split it right down the middle. And I find that very offensive, because I worked so hard to tell the truth, even though it might be self-deprecating. I never got that. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, it's difficult.
It is not easy.
A lot of being a judge is weighing credibility,
Yeah.
and trying to use your own experiences just as a human being to.
Not easy.
No, not at all.
Especially when two people have oftentimes an absolute different opinion of and description of what happened, right?
And I think emotions can color people's versions of reality. You know, how angry you are at a person, and you start to believe something.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Maybe you misinterpret something.
Also, perception, right? Like,
yes,
someone will say, from this moment on, when X happened, I never looked at whatever the same, but that's your perception of what happened, whether it was an argument at dinner or whatever the case might be.
I told the truth about everything.
Oh, yeah.
And
as you see it, though.
No, I was right. I'm telling you. And it cost me half of the contract. Because he's like, I'm just going to split it down the middle. Because, half of what, I just split it down the middle, and that's what I do. You can tell I'm rolling my eyes. That was a lot of money to lose. But at the end of the day, you have to make the decision.
Yeah.
And that's not easy. Why should people vote for you?
I've had a lot of experience in public service. I've worked for the court system for almost 10 years prior to working for Judge Dillon. I've had a lot of sort of a varied professional background that I think has given me a lot of sort of wide base of experiences to give me the sort of knowledge and experience to do a good job for people.
Do you have a primary, or is it...
State Supreme Court is a little bizarre. We have a convention, not a primary.
Oh, okay.
And so it's sort of like, and not really, but it's like running for president. You're trying to earn delegates rather than primary voters, and the delegates select you at a convention in August.
Okay, so you're really running for those delegates right now, and then you'll be running for the hopefully you're running for the position.
Yeah, absolutely.
On Election Day. So, all right, Matthew Skinner, anything else you want people to know?
It's 6 counties, so it's a huge district, and just trying to, like I said, introduce myself to people. I'll see people at the St. Patrick's Day Parade on Saturday, so please say hello to me there.
All right. Skinner is a Mohawk Valley name.
Yes.
Are you from
Ilion.
originally from Ilion?
You used to live in Ilion, correct?
I did. 19 years we lived there. So
it's got to be nice with the delegates. You don't have to go door to door, do you? They come to a place and you can advocate for yourself there. You don't have to go knocking on doors at the end of winter.
Although we are in a petitioning season, we're trying to help people that are we're trying to help everybody that's running at the moment get their signatures.
The other good thing about running for any judicial position is they can't drag you into the politics. You can say, I'm running for judge. I can't talk about those things.
Absolutely.
Which
important.
Is a good. I think you're better off in this current state.
Yes.
Matthew Skinner, we'll do it again, and good luck in August.
Thank you very much.
All right. Stand by. We have news coming up top of the hour at 8 o'clock at WIBX.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
We're about to get an update this hour on Operation Epic Fury. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. For War Secretary Pete Hegseth, who was there last night at Dover Air Force Base when the remains of the 7th U.S. soldier killed in the war with Iran arrived in a flag-draped coffin. President Trump was there Saturday when the first 6 returned.
When you have conflicts like this, you always have death.
And he says this about the families of the 6.
They were unbelievable people, but they all had one thing in common. They said to me one thing, every single one. Finish the job, sir.
The president also says this about Iran replacing the supreme leader killed on day 1 of the war with his son, Mojtaba Khamenei.
I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice.
The president also says the war will end very soon, and he had a phone call with Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
There were a lot of moving parts in the decision-making process, the president told me, but he said if we had waited 3 days, I believe we would have been attacked. I also asked President Trump about the possibility of negotiation with the Iranian regime, and he told me, I'm hearing they want to talk badly, adding, we sort of don't have to speak anymore, if you really think about it, but it's possible.
This as Iran keeps counterattacking.
Saudi Arabia and Kuwait say they've shot down Iranian drones this morning. In Bahrain, one person's been killed and others injured in a strike on a residential building. This after President Trump threatened on social media to dramatically increase military action if Iran tried to close the Strait of Hormuz. The narrow waterway is a crucial route for the oil trade.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Oil is down this morning, back to $89 a barrel, but gas is up another 6 cents. Voting's underway in Georgia for a special House election to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican who resigned from Congress after a falling out with President Trump. A congressman from California is stepping away from the Republican Party. Kevin Kiley's gone independent, saying he'll still caucus with the GOP in the House, but may not vote with Republicans. America's listening to Fox News.
Shh, here she comes. Surprise! They sent a duplicate shipment to your flower shop. Now you have to pay for 1,000 extra carnations. Also, there's a beehive outside your store, and they're super aggressive. There's thousands of them.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, the egg salad you just ate was expired. Gross.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Following the attacks on 9/11/01, FDNY firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. Daniel spent months and months searching for victims. Now, Daniel's death was the direct result of 9/11-related cancer. He leaves behind his wife, Carrie, and their children. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. Join us. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Investigators probing a New York City terror case found more homemade bombs at a Pennsylvania storage facility and disposed safely of the improvised explosive devices after a weekend attack.
NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said while the weekend threat and the war in Iran are not directly related,
our intelligence and counterterrorism unit and teams have been out there in full force.
She said that will continue. Emir Balad and Ibrahim Qayyumi face federal charges for allegedly tossing IEDs at protesters near the home of New York City's mayor. James Barnacle with the FBI's New York field office said the vigilance local and federal officers showed is necessary.
This weekend was just another example of the elevated threat environment we're currently living in.
In New York City, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are now down before today's trading. And back to the Iran war, it's caused drama in soccer. That's in Australia, where people were protesting outside a bus, taking some of the players of Iran's women's national soccer team out of a hotel. 5 of those players have been granted asylum to stay in Australia. The rest appear to have declined the offer amid threats from Iran.
This all started when the women's Iranian soccer team refused to sing Iran's national anthem last Monday before their first match in the Asian Cup. It was viewed as an act of protest. Iranian state media reportedly labeled them as wartime traitors and dishonorable, urging authorities to punish them as an example. The players did the anthem in subsequent games in the tournament, and all of this caused concern and outrage from human rights groups and the Players Union, urging Australia to grant these players asylum. Yesterday, President Trump urged Australia to grant the women asylum as well, or if not, he said the U.S. would.
That's Fox's Brian Yanis. At the World Baseball Classic, the U.S. beat Mexico 5-3. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
We have some sunshine and 41 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. A man is recovering after being stabbed in the chest during a fight on Mohawk Street. Utica police say officers learned about the incident, which occurred on Sunday night shortly after 8 p.m. when the victim was brought to the Wynn Hospital. Medical staff there had to perform emergency surgery. The man is in critical condition but expected to recover. Utica police are asking for tips or information on the incident. Anyone with that information can contact the Utica Police Department. More details being released about an incident involving a man who had a gun near the Syracuse University campus. Police say 22-year-old Mateo Haley Pereira is a Cornell University student who purchased a bus ticket to the city of Syracuse. He was armed with a rifle and ammunition on Saturday before being taken into custody while he was waiting for a bus going back to Ithaca. Going back to Ithaca. Haley Pereira's motive still under investigation. He's being held in the Onondaga County Justice Center waiting further court proceedings. We hear a lot about AI mining and data mining, crypto mining as well. There is a New York State municipality who is drawing the line. The Coxsackie Town Board is meeting tonight, and members are expected to pass a complete ban on crypto mining and data centers. The town supervisor says there are growing concerns about the amount of electric power used for the operations. He also says they produce low-frequency noises that have been known to cause health issues in people, like worsening concentration and sleep problems. The board meets tonight at 7 o'clock at their town hall. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:07. Here's a look at your Weather Center forecast.
It's that time of year, fog thick and a cool morning, and then developing sunshine as we head through the day. The mild weather continues, 63. Some showers tonight, 45. North Country a little bit cooler, and a chance of showers tomorrow, maybe some afternoon thunderstorms, highs in the upper 60s. Rain and snow showers back on Thursday, colder, mid-30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, clear and 41 at 8:08. All right, in sports, some big NFL moves. Tua Tagovailoa is going to land in Georgia. The Atlanta Falcons will sign him to a one-year deal when free agency officially begins on Wednesday. Michael Penix Jr. is recovering from a knee injury and could miss a week or two of the regular season. Tua was released by the Dolphins yesterday before the team agreed to terms with former Green Bay Packers backup Malik Willis on a 3-year deal worth $45 million in guaranteed money. A Buccaneers legend heading out west, Mike Evans, will leave Tampa Bay, agreeing to terms with the San Francisco 49ers on a 3-year deal worth more than $60 million. The 32-year-old was taken 7th overall by Tampa in the 2014 draft and tied Hall of Famer Jerry Rice with 11 consecutive seasons of 1,000 receiving yards. Kansas City will keep Travis Kelce. The two sides agreeing to a one-year deal worth $12 million. They're also signing Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III to a 3-year, $43 million contract that includes almost $29 million in guaranteed money. The Giants making some moves as well. They get tight end Isaiah Likely from the Baltimore Ravens, linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, and punter Jordan Stout. The Giants also re-signing wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins and offensive tackle Jermaine Elmanor. Let's see. The Jets, they get veteran safety Minka Fitzpatrick from the Miami Dolphins. Again, all of this will be official tomorrow when teams are officially able to sign. Syracuse basketball plays today in what could be their final game of the season and maybe even the last game of the Adrian Autry era. Syracuse will play at 4:30 this afternoon in the opening round of the ACC tournament. Their opponent is SMU, and that game will be televised on the ACC network. Still coming up this weekend, the Utica Pioneers will play Saturday night at home. They take on Williams. It is a 7 o'clock start. Be listening this week for your chance to win tickets to the game. Also, Hamilton is at home Saturday night, 7 o'clock, and their opponent is Newman University, obviously a team very well known by Pioneers fans because they are a UCHC foe.
I thought this story was pretty interesting, and it's getting into the airline stuff that we were talking about earlier. An American Airlines passenger swore at the cabin crew as she was being thrown off a Tampa-bound flight. Why was she thrown off the Tampa Bay flight, the Tampa flight?
Well, they can have any reason, right, to get rid of you.
They can. There was a story recently. I forgot who was telling the story. It was actually a guy on SNL. He was complaining because he had bought a first-class seat, and the plane was almost full. They moved him to coach because a pilot was doing a hop and fly. So the pilot had to get to, let's say, Albany, and they're in Orlando, and he has a first-class seat, and they moved him out of the first-class seat and put the pilot in the first-class seat.
All right. So as it relates to this story,
you're drunk. Maybe you're not drunk. They can say you're drunk and put you on a 24-hour freeze where you can't fly anywhere for 24 hours.
Being hostile. What does that mean?
Oh,
I mean,
right.
I know what that means, but that's a
them.
perception thing. Yeah. So, okay, we have a woman heading
the
to Tampa.
And here's another problem you got to be careful of, is a lot of these movies people are watching on their laptops or their iPads have nude scenes. So if it's an R-rated movie, it might have a nude scene, and there you are watching a nude scene on your computer or your iPad, and there's somebody behind looking and saying they're watching pornographic stuff. That's not what happened here, but.
All right, so we have a woman headed to Tampa, and there's a video of her cussing out the crew as she's being taken off the plane.
Yes.
What did she do? She was smoking weed on the plane.
Good guess, but no. She was, they say drunk, but was playing a video on her cell phone, and it was too loud.
Stop.
So first of all, you should have headphones. If you're going to play a video on an airplane, you should be wearing headphones, right? You shouldn't be, because if you got everybody playing the video, everybody's doing a different video. I mean, wear headphones. Anyway, they're saying it was too loud coming out of her phone loudspeaker. She was described as drunk by another traveler. She has her arguments about why she should stay on. And after you hear what she says here, tell me what you think. Here's the audio.
All right.
I paid money for it, and I played a video for 30 seconds at 50% sound. That sounds like a damn problem. What the actual I stopped after the second warning. I stopped it. Hey, is this not a free speech America? Can I not express my feelings? Thank you for recording me. I played a video for 30 seconds.
Thank you, officer.
Gone she is.
Yeah, well, if she's not drunk, she's single for sure. Well,
she sounds drunk. And you know what? Here's the funny thing is, they don't want you to be drunk, but they have bars all over the airports. Like, what are you doing?
Right. Look, I turned it down after the second warning. Look, when you usually don't get a second warning. That's number one.
And remember, here's the other thing. United Airlines, this was the flight. This was American. United, just a few days before, banned tech without headphones or earbuds. So you can't use, it is on a United flight, you are not allowed to use any device without headphones. You must use headphones.
All right, so I have a wonder and then an observation. Let me first say, when she says, "What kind of country is this?" I thought it was free speech. She's from California, I assume, right?
That free speech doesn't apply in somebody else's business. And
correct.
On an airplane, you're in someone else's business.
Yes, as a matter of fact, when you're flying or when you're on a plane, it's almost like the pilot is the king.
Yes.
And
the dictator.
The dictator, yes. What he says goes. It doesn't matter. Your rights are secondary to him flying and operating the plane.
Today, you cannot argue with any staff. You cannot argue with them. If you argue with them, there's a very good chance you're just going to get booted. They don't even wait anymore. It's like, and they'll say you're drunk when you may not be.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
All right, and then the other thing is, what was your other question? You asked me a question.
Well, I mean, should she have been kicked off? I say yes.
Look, I don't know what preempted that, but yeah, it doesn't matter what I think. When they say you got to go, you got to go.
The other part of this is, have you ever seen someone? I don't want to say an older person because there's a lot of tech savvy older people, and but. Maybe someone who doesn't do well with technology, and all of a sudden, like I've done this, like in bed, all of a sudden I'm scrolling through the news, and for some reason my finger touches an ad, and it's like, do you have an ad? And it's loud as can be. And, my wife is like, what are you doing? I'm trying to sleep. But God forbid she does it, and I'm like, patient about it. But maybe it's a person who made a mistake. I don't think she made a mistake. I watched the video for 30 seconds. I shouldn't be kicked off for that.
And then after my second warning, I finally turned it off.
Yeah. I mean,
she's not drunk. She's single.
They're not dealing with warnings on airplanes anymore. Wayne, what do you think?
Calm down. I am calm. No, sir. Calm down. I'm going to hit you with the tase. Tase you.
Yeah, she had to go. I think she had to go.
I like that, though. You see that? I see that all the time. Sir, calm down. I am calm. No,
louder.
Sir, calm down. Right? Keep yelling it. Keep yelling it louder.
Bill, when did Utica start using state? I mean, they are state police, but why are they using state police to radar speeders on the parkway now? So you better beware.
Oh, when did you get a ticket?
Oh, I didn't get no ticket. I've learned my lesson. I'm one of them guys that people get behind now and they go, "Damn it! How did I get behind him?" I'm afraid to get a ticket.
You're reformed.
I'm shell-shocked. I'm not reformed. I'm just shell-shocked.
I understand.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So state police are doing speed checks on the arterial?
Creepy ones where they're backed up in and they're looking down,
Okay.
The creep ones.
I would never call them creepy.
Damn it, I didn't see you, the last minute.
Yeah, good hiders is what I'd call them. Very good hiders.
Well, I will say this. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think it's the first time. I don't necessarily think this is new, but
like I said, they're state.
Yeah, state police. I'm not sure. I know the city of Utica's partnered with the Oneida County Sheriff's Office on certain operations. I don't know about traffic enforcement.
I do want to tell you that when I lived in Ilion, we were just talking about that I lived in Ilion. When I lived in Ilion and I would drive to Utica every day, I had this fantasy that right when you get right past the Frankfurt exit and there's that overpass, and then there's a do not turn U-turn, do not make a U-turn here, and they would let the weeds like
overgrow.
Like they'd be 15, 20 feet tall, and you could not see if there was a speed check in there. In my mind, every day I would drive by, I was like, God, if I only had the guts to pull out a weed whacker, I would flatten this thing right out.
Get Joe Load.
Yeah, Joe Load would do it. I was just trying to mow. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's a speed check. Didn't know it.
Joe would have a built-in excuse as to why it's a traffic hazard.
Oh, God.
He'll be plugging something there.
Yeah. All right, Wayne, have a wonderful day, man.
You too, guys.
All right.
Joe
so
Load would be like, what? I can't use a John Deere weed whacker?
This is a public service I'm in the middle of right here.
No, but he'd be specifically announcing brands and different models.
Oh, that's a good point. I got this at White's Farm Supply. I don't know what you're talking about. And by the way, 30% off. Go over there right now.
I got an extra 10% for state police. Just show your badge.
Oh boy. Quick break. Coming up.
You want a couple comments?
Yes.
All right. So this is Joe, who said, and this is more a question for you. It came in right as the doctors were leaving last hour. He says, ask them about the show, The Resident. It's similar to The Pit. Now, on the way out, I did ask the doctors, Joe, and one of the doctors wasn't familiar with it, and the other one said that he had watched some of it, and he thought it was a little too soap opera. I think he said soap opera-y.
Yeah.
Is what he described it as.
The Pit is like intense. Very, very intense.
And then the other one is, and I'm going to be careful with how I say this, comes from Lance. Hey, Jeff, ask Bill how hard he laughed on the episode where the old lady goes to the bathroom on a student doctor.
She was having, I believe what was happening is she was backed up. And it's kind of like when remember that time the Hoover Dam broke?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, not good. I didn't laugh. I was quite disgusted by that.
Lance says it might be the funniest thing he's ever seen on television.
And the kid who was the actor, all over his face, and it was.
Oh my goodness!
It was bad. Yeah. Okay, and then I have a couple here, and then I'll break. Julie this morning had a water main break in front of my house. They came back in good weather and fixed the lawn.
So, Uncle Smitty, we got a phone call after we talked about that segment, and it was an employee of the Mohawk Valley Water Authority who just said, hey, as a heads up, we do come and fix that kind of stuff.
That's really nice.
Yeah, all you got to do is call over there, Jeff, and then they'll come over and fix your lawn for you.
And she said Jeff should call the Mohawk Valley Water Authority and make sure you're on their list of repair schedule.
Cool.
And they will do that. Really good. Let's see, Wayne. World Baseball played Mexico last night. Everyone had to show identification to get in. Okay, that's probably true. And Donna said, for some reason on YouTube, Jeff is, why is it still volume?
No, I thought that's what she messaged earlier.
She said you're in echo mode for some reason.
Oh.
And I have a ton of comments we'll get to before we get done on lost the volume. I don't know what's going on with the YouTube thing. I'm trying to keep on it. We're working on it. But I'll read those comments coming up for YouTube in a second. Farmer Ben, it's maple season. Maple syrup season. What's the weather? How does the weather affect the weather that we've had? How has it affected maple season and the maple season? We'll get into that coming up in a second. Oh, he comes bearing gifts.
Yes, he does.
Wow. And then this. So we'll talk about all of this. All right, let me break first, and we'll come right back. Let me tell you about flooring. If you're dealing with, you are on fire. Wow. If you're in need of flooring, why would you go anywhere else but a store that has flooring experts and deals only in flooring? And we're talking about in Sarah's Flooring Outlet. Sal and everybody over there, they deal in flooring. And right now you can get in and take advantage of great prices on carpeting, in-stock vinyl remnants, hardwood flooring. They have great prices as they are reducing that inventory. And in some cases, some of the flooring is being sold below cost because they're making room for all of the new inventory to come in at Sarah's Flooring Outlet. See why more people buy from the big store. You get such great selection, bigger than you get at any of the big box stores. The selection is so large that you see items that you don't normally see, unique items that you could put into your home. It's in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and in sarahsflooringoutlet.com. They do a tremendous job at Sarah's. All right, sit tight. We'll come back with Farmer Ben coming right up at WIBX.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through March 31st, get up to $180 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your Tallman's Tire CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end March 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though. I'm freaking out. Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Micro. That's pound 250, Micro.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, host of Fox Across America. We're talking politics, pop culture, and comedy, minus all the rage and finger-pointing. It's real talk for real people who just want to laugh, think, maybe learn something along the way. So join the fun weekdays at noon right here on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, Central New York's home for talk that's smart, honest, and just the right amount of crazy. Fox Across America with your main man, Jimmy Fallon.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Hey, portions of the program brought to you by the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. The Falcon Clinic, for the longest time, they were not accepting any new patients. But they are now, after the addition of Dr. Cheryl Mattern. She is originally from Sequoia. She's worked throughout MVHS and down in the Valley as well. Originally at the Mohawk Valley General Hospital in Ilion. A long time ago, had a practice down there as well. Now she's with the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills, joining Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Shemileski. In fact, this week I'll be at the Falcon Clinic for OMT, osteopathic manipulation treatment. I do it once a month. Kind of gets everything flowing, so it puts you in the best possible scenario to make sure that you are operating the way you should operate. Your body is flowing the way it should flow, and everything's working the way it should work. It's the Falcon Clinic. If you need a new family doctor, a second opinion, reach out today at 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic is in Washington Mills. All righty. In studio right now is Dave Olney. He is the chief of police in Boonville. And good morning.
Good morning.
So you have an event, and I wanted to get you on to talk about that, and then we'll speak with Farmer Ben here.
Okay.
How's Boonville? How are things in Boonville?
Good. We're thawing out up there. Had a couple beautiful days. The snow's starting to go down.
I cannot believe how much snow we've lost.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, unless, of course, the flooding. And if it rains a lot, we may be in a little bit of a situation. But for right now, it hasn't been that bad. I don't think the flooding has been that bad.
I think so far it's been pretty good. The only road that I heard was closed was maybe Riscony.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's usually the first one to go.
Yeah. Okay, what are you doing? Friday night, your band. Talk about your band.
So Friday night, the Dusty Puppies, we're playing at Station 233, which is a fire service motif bar on 233 in Westmoreland.
It's all built around fire.
Yep.
The walls decorated and and it's a good hangout for firefighters.
Yeah, it's a great venue. A couple police things in there, which is good.
Yeah.
We had to fix that. But Cheryl and JR there, we talked to them about we were booked to play there for Friday the 13th for St. Patrick's Day. We do a St. Patrick's Day gig there every year, and we asked them if they minded if we did something for Boonville Fire.
Nice.
And they're all in on it. So we're playing, and we're going to try to raise some money that we're going to donate to the fund for the for firefighters in the Boonville Fire Department.
What time does it start?
7 p.m.
Okay.
To 10 p.m.
All right.
We're going to have a boot there to like the boot drive. We're going to do our little boot drive there.
Cool.
We're also we had already planned on doing a thing for Rovers Do Over, so we're kind of doing both.
What is Rovers Do Over?
Rovers Do Over is a dog rescue that we actually just rescued a dog last month. She's a 3 or 4 year old Rottie Pit Mix. I wasn't ready for another dog. I lost my boy about 15 months ago. This dog we got from Rovers Do Over is the instant perfect dog.
Wow.
We got so lucky, but we've gotten close with Chelsea at Rovers Do Over, and the work they do is incredible. So we're hoping to.
All right, cool.
Is that found animals or animals that were in abusive homes?
It's everything.
Yeah.
Yep. They have, and
where are they located?
They're located in Frankfurt. They actually foster most of their dogs until they find homes for them. And
I'm assuming the concept is it's a second chance for the animal.
What gave that away, Bill?
I don't know. I'm like, I don't get the do-over thing. I don't get the do-over. And then
I have dew all over my backyard when the snow just melted.
The bell just went off in my head. I'm like, oh. I now have figured out what everybody else figured out long before.
Rover's Do-Over. Yeah, that's a great name.
All right.
So the Boonville Fire Department, again, there's a fund through the community bank that the community has been donating to in Boonville. I believe 271 has got a bowling event Saturday and Sunday up in Boonville. I believe 271 is helping us out. Actually, as of last week, I think I'm the newest member of the board of the Believe 271.
Nice. Do we? Can we just talk a little bit about? I don't think because the news cycle, a story hits, we follow it for a few days, and then it's gone. This has been a long recovery for these people of the church and firefighters.
It has been, and it's going to continue to be a long recovery. To start from the beginning, on February 17th, there was an odor of gas at the Abundant Life Church on State Route 12 south of the village of Boonville.
Yep.
4 members of the Utica Fire Department, of the Boonville Fire Department responded, and along with the pastor, were in the building at the time the building actually exploded. All 5 were injured. The pastor and one of the firefighters got out within a couple days.
The fact that they survived is shocking.
It's unbelievable.
Based on we put drone video up that you had taken, and I don't know how they ever survived.
Not only 4 of them were in the basement and got themselves out of the basement. And the place was fully engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
And they were in a location they'd never been before, and all that smoke and flames and fire, and they were all seriously injured in the basement.
And I don't know how. I had one experience with gas, and I had a your outdoor fire pit, and it just I don't know, the wood was wet or something was not working. So I just got a little can of gasoline, and I never even thought about the vapor of the gas, but it was before the gas ever hit the pit, the vapor came right up in my face.
Yep.
And that was and I can only imagine that's what it's like.
And gas
intensified by 1,000 times.
Yep. Gas fire and a propane fire, 2 different things too. Gas wants to go up.
Okay.
It's lighter than air.
And this is propane.
Propane settled in the basement, and that tank was just dumping into the basement.
God.
2 of the firemen are still in the hospital, and the chief, the acting chief right now, assistant chief, last night at the board meeting, he gave an update and said in the last week, they've really, really made a remarkable, they both made remarkable improvements, but they're in for a long road.
Okay.
All of them are. So we're doing what we can, and the communities come together in a phenomenal way at Boonville, in the surrounding communities to help out, and very much needed. These guys, not just in Boonville, but every fire department around, both voluntary and paid, but especially the voluntary, they're there 24/7, no matter the weather conditions or what they got going on. They leave their homes and their families and they go out to help, sometimes perfect strangers.
Yeah.
And this is a good opportunity, not just our event Friday night, but all the different events for this. Plus, you're driving down the road in the middle of nowhere, and you come upon a little hamlet where there's a boot drive going on. Reach in your pocket, give them money.
Yeah.
That's what they depend on, and these people serve their community to the highest degree and the greatest definition of service. They're out there putting themselves in harm's way like this to try to help their community.
So it's over on Route 233.
233. Yep, between 5 and Westmoreland,
and 7 o'clock on Friday night.
Yep.
The Dusty Puppies.
Bring your green for St. Patrick's Day, and bring your green for the Rovers Do-Over and for the fire department.
All right, good stuff. Let me break quickly, and we'll come back with a little maple syrup talk. Manaski has an update on news. And you brought in some unique items we're going to get into coming up in a second. Stand by. 8:35 at WIBX.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ROAD to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ROAD for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ROAD for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Possibility starts with the right financial solutions from AmeriQ Credit Union. Get started today at ameriq.org/possibility.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Somebody's asking on YouTube about the clock. So there's a story. There's always a story, right? And
should we tell the story?
No, I don't think that we can get into it. But we're working on a solution. There's always a story. There's always a solution. And actually, we're always yearning for 905 anyway.
I was going to say, it says it's time to go.
It's time to leave.
It's time to go.
River Hills Properties continues to invest in upstate New York. Nobody sells homes like River Hills. It's all about the services provided. They do things that other real estate agencies in the area don't do. And that includes the lockbox issue. They don't use it. Your listing agent is there every single time the house is shown. You just get more service. You get more help. You get a lowering of the stress level. It's like adding a team that can work for you when it comes to selling your home. And if you're looking to buy as well, it's River Hills. They have offices in Barneveld, Little Falls, and Utica, Copenhagen, Newport, coming soon to Rome, and the amazing Gulf Coast of Florida. Full team of real estate agents in Florida, including Robin, and who travels back and forth. It's crazy the miles that she puts on. And Andrew as well, Andrew Dominio. Online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com, 315-896-1009. RH Properties, River Hills Properties. Nobody sells homes like River Hills. And Manaski with an update.
Sunshine, 43 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:40. The body of a 7th American service member killed in Operation Epic Fury is back in the United States. The remains of Army Sergeant Benjamin Pennington arrived in Dover, Delaware on Monday night, with Vice President Vance attending the dignified transfer. Pennington died Sunday, a week after he was wounded during an Iranian strike on an air base in Saudi Arabia. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin talking on the phone Monday about the conflict in Iran and Russia's war in Ukraine. The Kremlin said that Putin, a chief ally of Iran, spoke with Trump for about an hour and called the discussion frank. Russia has been suspected of assisting Iran during the ongoing U.S. military attacks. The Group of Seven might release oil reserves to help counter disruptions caused by the conflict in Iran. The representatives from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the United Kingdom, along with the United States, will meet virtually today to try and come up with a plan. The U.S. thinks releasing as much as 400 million barrels, some 30% of the reserves, will do the trick. Airport security wait times growing as the partial government shutdown has left most of the Department of Homeland Security without funding. That includes the TSA. Passengers at Houston's Hobby Airport were told to arrive up to 5 hours before their flights this past weekend. And Live Nation and the Department of Justice have settled their antitrust case. It follows a week of testimony that threatened a breakup between Live Nation and Ticketmaster. The companies had been accused of creating an illegal monopoly when they merged in 2010, inflating concert ticket prices and crushing competition. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:42. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
It's that time of year, fog thick and a cool morning, then developing sunshine as we head through the day. The mild weather continues, 63. Some showers tonight, 45. North Country a little bit cooler, and a chance of showers tomorrow, maybe some afternoon thunderstorms, highs in the upper 60s. Rain and snow showers back on Thursday, colder, mid-30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Sunshine, 43 at 8:43.
Okay, in studio right now is Ben Simons. Ben is a local farmer, and good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Bill and Jeff. How are you? And Davey?
I'm wondering, so the weather we had this year was more of a traditional winter.
It was.
Although it has not been traditional to have such a long stretch of below zero weather.
Right. But in my world, I would call this the more traditional winter. Last year was a little more harsher because we never had a break.
Right.
In the snowfall. It just kept coming until buildings collapsed.
Yeah.
This year we had more of a traditional winter. We had snow. We had snow early.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us still have corn still standing out in the fields. So when you drive by and see the corn out there half covered with snow, not to worry, we're going to get it.
Yeah.
And then we had our January thaw. And now all of a sudden here we are, having this little bump up in temperature. But this weekend's going to go back down. So the maple season is just getting started. Actually, some of the trees up my way still haven't thawed out yet. We still have about 2 feet of snow.
Sure.
From basically Deerfield Hill all the way up into Boonville, talking with Dave this morning. So maple season is, and I want to say this correctly, the last crop of every year is your Christmas trees.
Mm-hmm.
The first crop of every year is your maple trees. Isn't it amazing how the last crop and the first crop? So everyone is just getting started in the maple industry, our maple sapping season. The larger producers started tapping trees back in December. People, the old timers are like, oh, that's crazy. But the reality is a lot of the new technology vacuum. So when they plug in the trees, they drill them in December, early January when it's cold, and they plug them trees in. They put a vacuum to it so the tree doesn't heal. And then the minute we get these, like yesterday, we were up in the 50s and 60s, the sap starts to run. So the season is starting early, and then we're going to have a cold spell this weekend, and then the sap season is going to be there. And so it's looking right now, the people I've been talking to over the weekend, I talked to Carrie Tibbetts last night just to check in on how everything's going. The actual sugar content this year is actually higher than it has been the past few years to start with. So everybody right now, if you've already tapped out, is making super, super high quality, light amber maple syrup. So we're on a track for a traditional sugaring season.
So there are some people that are already producing the maple syrup.
Yes, already just getting started. And the maple syrup I brought into you today was made yesterday. from Adirondack Foothills Farm right there in Steuben, right in Steuben Valley.
So how do you make it? You get the sap and you just boil it down?
Yep, you get the sap and then you just boil it down, and you can do that right in your own kitchen. We're going to go with the normal listener here, the average listener. If you have a maple tree in your yard, whether it's a hard maple tree, or sugar maple they call it, or a regular white maple, an ordinary maple, you go out and tap that tree under the limbs. Find the biggest limb coming off that tree. Tends to be on the east side. Tap a hole in that tree, go get a spigot, Google it. They'll show you how to do it on Google. And then you take that sap in your house, put it on a pot on your kitchen stove, and bring it to a light simmer. You don't want a hard boil because you'll cook it.
Right.
Nice simmer. And then you use a teaspoon. And you dip it in every few minutes, like, every so often, and pull it up. And when you see that start to make a little apron underneath the spoon, there's your maple syrup.
And that's it.
That's it. As simple and pure as it can get. And then you can use maple syrup on your cereal. What I like to do is, I grew up as a Nestle Quick chocolate guy, and I know you did, Jeff. Everybody had a Nestle's Quick.
Did you just call me fat?
Oh, what's that?
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, and what I like to do. No, I'm not saying you're fat.
I am. It's just a joke. Go ahead.
But what I like is maple syrup in a glass of milk. And usually it's like a 1 to 10 ratio. That's where the flavor. Yeah,
you brought us something today.
And I brought you some maple milk. Yep.
What is the
Collins Farm?
Is that maple butter? What is that?
Yeah, maple cream injected with some cinnamon. So it's maple cream cinnamon. Cinnamon maple cream.
Dairy cream.
Yep. It's maple cream. So in other words, they boil it a little bit further to make it creamy. Because once you go from the maple syrup, it goes to cream, and then it goes to sugar.
Okay.
So it's another degree or two more. And they infuse it with cinnamon. And
you know
toast.
what you use this for? Oh, toast. Is
Put
that
it on toast or a bagel.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
So
good stuff. Take your finger and lick right in. Take your finger.
It smells delicious.
When I was a kid, we used to get and I don't see it anywhere in stores. I don't know why.
Wow.
But used to get maple or honey butter.
Yep.
So it was a a cardboard tub of honey butter, and it's just what you can make yourself.
And I
just
haven't
whip
seen
butter
that in a long time.
and honey. I have not seen that in years.
Yeah,
it was a thing you could buy in the grocery store, and I don't see it anywhere.
Yeah, I know what it is because I grew up with it, but you're right. I guess I've lost track of it because my wife uses cream,
really good
honey that hasn't been pasteurized and homogenized, and it turns that creamy. I know I'm losing my thing. And then we spread that on toast.
Yeah.
Honey toast and all that.
So you ever tried a nice piece of bread, maybe Heidelberg or whatever bread that you really like, and you toast it, and then you get a really good butter. I do like the Irish butter or something European because it's a little heavier and
they put a little more fat in it.
There's more fat.
Is what they do.
And then you get one of your finer. This is important to make sure you get a good quality. Don't get garbage, but a good quality ketchup. And then you pour it all over the toast.
Oh, you got my heart. I'm all about ketchup.
All over the toast, and it is so. And every once in a while, I might put a few drops of Frank's Red Hot on it as well.
There you go.
It is my. I've been eating that since I was a kid.
Look at that. And
no, Ben, I want you to try it.
I will. I know my wife's listening, so
I want you to try it. And she's probably listening and saying that's disgusting. Yep. Like everybody else says it's disgusting. But
I have an odd taste. I love ketchup and Oreo cookies. And a glass of milk. But
all right, well, that is me being able to say that's weird. Okay,
wow.
It's hard for me to say that considering I like a good ketchup on
toast
peas.
Yeah,
as well. It's really good.
Yeah,
I put it on a hot dog. Let me tell you, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. On toast.
Oh, ketchup sandwich.
I don't. You put ketchup on steak?
Oh yeah,
absolutely not.
And A1 together. Ketchup A1 on a good steak.
My ketchup story.
How did we go from maple syrup to ketchup?
I like seeing at a restaurant somebody put ketchup or even ask for it on their steak.
Oh, that's my story.
And having the chef come out and throw the bottle at them like, get out of here.
Boy, so when I was married,
you put ketchup on steak.
If I make the steak myself,
you must
because
like
I'm not
the steak
good,
well done.
I will typically add a little ketchup for a little flavor. Again, if I cooked it, okay, because I'm not handy in the kitchen. But when I was married, and I hope she's not upset that I'm exposing her here, but we went to my brother-in-law's wedding. I guess the outlaws, as I call them now, in a loving way. Anyway, is a very high-end place, and this was a nice piece of meat. I don't know if it was filet.
Just at a place like that, just asking for ketchup will get reaction.
So she says to me, can you ask if they have ketchup? And I'm like, you're kidding me. This is not.
Right, your father's a chef.
Yes. I'm like, she's like, and it was my wife. Okay, sure. So the waiter walks by and I go, hey, could you bring out some ketchup? Very casual. Hey, on your way back, could you grab the ketchup? And the guy stops. I thought he was going to hit me. This is the staff, not even the cook. He steps in front of me and he goes, this is not the kind of meat that you put ketchup on. And I look at him and I go, it's not for me. Okay, I understand that. It's not for me. And he kind of gave and walked off, and he came back with a bottle of Heinz ketchup. So she enjoyed the steak, and I enjoyed some dirty looks.
If you're gonna do it, you must always ask for pommes frites, French fries. Ask for French fries because it's okay to put ketchup on a French fry.
Gotcha.
And then you can somehow find it on top of the steak or something. But oh boy, yeah. Yeah.
So,
let me bring in Joe Load with a question for Ben.
Sure.
Hello, Joe. Good morning.
Hello, everyone, and good morning, Farmer Ben. How are you?
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Do you agree with me, Joe? You would never, ever, ever put ketchup on a hot dog.
I don't. I put mayonnaise on my hot dogs, but
that's
Canadian
kind
thing.
of a Philly Canadian type thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
boy, this group's in need of a health screening as soon as possible.
Really? Listen, he does butter shots. He doesn't even use the lobster.
You're supporting my dairy industry there,
yes.
Joe.
All right, Joe, go ahead.
All right, so listen, Farmer Ben, I really want to tell you I enjoyed the pig this year. It was great this winter.
Thank you.
Actually, was perfect. But anyway, I want to know, when do I start calling on you for firewood?
People don't know this, but you're
I have
a big firewood guy.
I have a very extensive firewood business, very extensive, and so if you want to start ordering your firewood now, and then after mud season, in between mud and when we really get into planting is when I start filling my firewood orders again. We're running into the mud season, so my firewood business is going to slow right down because people do not like dirty firewood.
What is the mud season?
I think it's literally when the ground is muddy, right?
Right. It's like right now. The snow is melting, the frost is coming out of the ground, and the ground is muddy, but there's always a layer of frost underneath, and it holds it, and everything's so wet that when you go out on your lawn, you squish, squish, squish. Well, we call that the mud season on the farm. You can't get on the fields quite yet, and they can't get in the woods. So anytime now, Joe, and I want to thank you for the compliment, and my little pigs are going to be arriving here in the next couple of weeks.
So you breed pigs and sell the...
I buy 8 to 10 week old little piglets already born and up and ready on dry feed, and we raise a dozen a year, and then we sell halves or whole pigs.
Okay.
And we send them to Miller's up in Lowville. And
how much is a half a pig?
Depends on the weight, but I charge $3.50 a pound, hanging weight. That's the butcher shop. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, sorry. So I just wanted to let you know I did clear the snow out from the yard. Phil's yard, so he's ready for when the wood season is. But I told him I would check and see,
okay.
when you're starting.
Anytime. And so thank you very much, Joe, for being one of my customers. And I love your advertising for me you do out on social media with my pigs and my firewood. I thank you for that.
Right, good stuff, Joe. So do you burn wood for the winter, Joe?
Yeah, can I do? So it's funny that I got my National Grid bill in the mail this morning.
Hold on.
So I burn wood predominantly for heat. However, my electric bill went from so it was the December bill was $454 when normally it's like maybe $200. At the most, it's been is $200 until this year. Then $454 in December, $407 in January, and I just got the bill for February, which was $472, and I use.
All right. So,
and you're using what? Here's what I don't understand, Joe. I am also our house is pretty big. We have a pretty big house, and my bill's like $500 for natural gas and electric, and I'm not. I don't skimp on usage, but I don't know why yours is so high.
And I have basically it's a 1-bedroom with a loft, maybe 1,000 square foot house. That's it. Now I do have a freezer running for the meat in the freezer, and I did just buy.
I got 3 refrigerators and a freezer. And
that pool.
Well,
and the pool, which I heat all winter long. Because you never know when you want to go out and have a little dip in the middle of the winter. So I don't know how that your bill. I would complain because that just doesn't sound right.
No, Bill, you ought to really feel very fortunate. On my farm right now up there in
I
Star
can
Hill,
only imagine on a farm.
My electric bill when we were milking cows 2 years ago was running about $1,000 a month. Now I don't have any milking cows, but I have a barn full of livestock. I've got beef cattle.
That's a barn. He has 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, and my bill now is equal to what it was when I was milking cows. And if you remember right, I don't know if you attended, but the Genesis group, Ray Durso's group, just had a big meeting here with all the elected officials. And it was sponsored by NIMO, National Grid, I should say, National Grid now.
Yes.
And the representative from National Grid said that the power bills, if you think they were high in December and January, wait till you get your February, March bill.
They're going up even more.
They're going to go up even more because the demand is so high.
I am not contesting that the bill. Please do not
see
this
you
as
ought to feel lucky.
Please do not see this as a pro-National Grid thing. I'm not. I know the bill has gone up. We used to pay $4, and now it might be like $5.50.
Mm-hmm.
So our bill has definitely gone up. But it shocks me that no, you don't have an upstairs, Joe, right? You just have a.
No, it's a loft, Bill.
It's a loft.
It's just an open loft, and again, I use wood to heat.
And you use wood, and you're spending $400 a month. Holy crap, that's a lot.
So here's what the supply charges were: $271.06. Delivery charges $201.42, and this is only electric. I do not have gas, so this is only electric.
You have electric heat?
No, I have wood stove.
I know that. I know you said that, but some people have wood, and then to supplement that, they might have an electric.
I have an oil burner.
Okay.
So I have a Utica boiler that runs on oil.
But you'd get that oil delivered.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that from National Grid. So I'm just saying, it sounds abnormally high for a 1,000 square foot loft home. And maybe it's because you're in the country. I don't know. Maybe that's
when
it.
When I first moved there 2 years ago, my electric bill was $70-some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now it's gone from a year and a half later, 2 years later, it's gone up to $472. Now, granted, I have a couple people in the house,
Yeah.
But still, I mean, my hot water tank is fueled by the boiler.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have New York sash windows. That's the reason. It's the New York sash windows.
Keeps all that heat inside.
It keeps the heat in. It keeps the heat in and the cold out. All right, Joe. Well, listen, that's high. That really is high. I would be certainly bothered by that as well. I hate to do this, but we're running up against the clock. Have a wonderful day, Joe.
Bye, Joe.
Thanks, man.
Have a great day, guys.
All right. The last 15 seconds.
All right. Maple weekend. Get out and visit your local maple sugar house on March 21st, 22nd, or the last weekend of March 28th, 29th. Get out and support your local maple producer.
I'm so glad that here on Maple, the Maple segment, we could talk about ketchup and toast.
Yeah, we'll have to come back.
You got to do it. And toast it. Really good butter, and then just a little bit of ketchup on there. You are going to have your mind blown. Thank you. We're back tomorrow. Enjoy your day.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 Utica. From the WB Payne Insurance Studio, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
An update on the war with Iran, day 11. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Iran stands alone, and they are badly losing.
And War Secretary Pete Hegseth just said this will be the most intense day of American strikes so far, with the same 3 goals: to destroy
missiles and their ability to make them, 2, destroy their Navy, and 3, permanently deny Iran nuclear weapons forever.
And Hegseth repeated President Trump's warning last night on Truth Social,
saying if Iran does anything to stop the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far.
Oil prices are down this morning, back to about $89 a barrel the day after spiking well over 100, but gas is up another 6 cents. In briefing a short time ago, the military's top general, Joint Chiefs Chairman Dan King, in Iranian attacks.
To the families and the families of all of our fallen, we share in your profound grief. The Joint Force remains eternally grateful for your sacrifice.
Kane and Hegseth were there last night when the remains of the 7th Sergeant Ben Pennington returned last night in a flag-draped coffin. Israel keeps joining the U.S., attacking Iran, and Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv talked to President Trump last night.
The president told me that one of the things that surprised me most was when they attacked countries that were not attacking them, speaking about Iran launching missiles and drones toward Gulf countries like the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait.
The president is warning he might not sign any bills approved by Congress until they pass a new voter ID law. The Democrats are blocking, claiming it would make it harder for millions of Americans to vote. Now, Democrats also keep blocking funding for Homeland Security, demanding immigration enforcement reforms. That means TSA airport security workers are not getting paychecks, so some are not showing up, leading to hours-long security lines at some airports. America's listening to Fox News.